Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much for joining again. We're continuing our discussion on Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is our fourth session, and in the fourth session, we are still at chapter 2, and we've only done the half of it. So, Gita was the acronym that we had begun with last time for the second chapter. G stands for absolute necessity of Guru, G is Guru, and I stands for identity. What is our identity? We discussed something on our identity as spirit, soul, Atma, right? And today we'll try to complete the T and the A part. And in case we can begin the third chapter, we'll make an attempt for it. Let us begin with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So, during the first session, I had said that Srila Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, right? He has given us this 700 texts in the form of Bhagavad Gita, and he has also written. So, from Mahabharata, he has taken and given us these 700 verses, and he has also written his glorification of Bhagavad Gita, which is called Gita Mahatmya. In one of the verses, he says, when we take bath every day, we take a shower, we cleanse our body. But he says, when you take a shower, in the instructions or the message of Bhagavad Gita, samsara malanashanam, all the dirt of this material world, attachments and everything that we have, the anarthas that we have, lust, anger, greed, envy, all of that gets washed away. Jalasnane dine dine, when you take bath every day, the body gets cleansed. But the heart gets cleansed by the study of Bhagavad Gita. Samsara mala nashanam. So now we come to the second chapter of the Gita. We have already done G, which is Guru, need for Guru, and then I, what is my identity? We move on to the next discussion, which comes in the second chapter, or another section, which is T, Gita. T stands for two duties, two duties, two levels of duties that we have. So, till now we have discussed that I am spirit soul, we all are spirits, we all are spirit soul, but we have a material body. So our two existences, I am spirit soul, and I have a covering of a material body and the mind, intelligence, and ego, and then I am the spirit. So two levels. So now duties are also at two levels. Some duties for the at the level of soul, and some duty has to be there at the level of the body. Like there are spiritual duties, and there are duties pertaining to the body. There are certain things that we need to do with the body. The body needs to be cleaned, the body needs to be maintained, the body will produce byproducts, the body has to be maintained. So there are duties at the level of the body, and whatever it takes to keep the body and soul together. So there are certain duties at the level of the body. They are they are technically called as so dharma. Duty is also translated as, the word is dharma. So spiritual dharma and material dharma. Spiritual dharma is the dharma for the soul, and material dharma is the dharma for the body. Right? So, two duties, spiritual swadharma and material swadharma. And they are technically called as constitutional duties and conditional duties. So as spirit soul, which is my eternal identity, that's a constitutional duty. And there is some, and the body that I have, for that I have conditional duty. Why it is conditional duties? Because these duties will change in time. These duties will vary with different bodies that we take. But as soul, my constitutional duty is there, right? We'll discuss more than this. Now, generally, what do you find? People are very eager to perform the conditional duty, take care of the body, those who are connected to the body, right? All that happens very nicely. But the constitutional duty goes for a toss. That nobody remembers also. That something was to be done for the soul, right? So now Arjuna, as we go to the third chapter, we'll find he'll be in a dilemma. What should I do? Right? That's why this discussion is the seed section for the third chapter. The discussion about the two duties, spiritual swadharma and material swadharma. So Srila Prabhupada, when he would explain this, uh, there are beautiful lecture series that he has given called Dharma series. This series happened in 1972. This series of lectures he gave at New Vrindavan in West Virginia. So dharma, what does this word dharma mean? Generally, we think Hindu dharma, Christian dharma, Muslim dharma, Islam, something like that. Prabhupada, dharma means that which cannot be taken away from an object, right? That which is a constant companion. Like for water, liquidity is the natural state to be liquid. Or for ocean water, it has to be salty. You cannot separate. If you separate it, then it's no more ocean water. Like fire cannot be separated from heat and light. Right? So something that cannot be taken off, something that is constant companion. So what is Sanatan Dharma? What is it that cannot be separated from us? You find two things. What cannot be separated is every living being renders service to someone. The shopkeeper serves the customers, the parents will serve the children, right? The prime minister is serving the country. And if I have nobody to serve, I may keep a dog and serve. But everybody is serving, right? But what is the problem? All the examples I gave, all these services in this world, they get terminated by death. Service is happening, which is a very natural thing that is seen in everyone. Everyone is trying to serve, right? Somebody or other, right? But this service does not remain eternal. Second thing that we find is everybody is looking for love. Every living being loves someone. Right? Like parents will love children. I love my friends, right? Somebody will say, I love my spouse, right? But again, an inherent problem there also. The relationship and love in this world is also temporary. The service is temporary till death do us part. The relationship and love is temporary, but service and love, these two propensities to love and to serve, this is everybody is doing it. So the scriptures explain us that the dharma of the soul, what is the dharma of the soul, is to love and serve God. Right? What happens in this world, we see when we love and serve somebody, as soon as the paycheck is stopped, the service stops. As soon as something dislikable happens, that relationship breaks. Right? We may want that our service in this world, we may want that our love in this world for parents, relatives, friends, it will remain eternal, but that's not the case. Death stops our connection and we have to move over to another situation. So at the level of soul, my dharma is to love and serve God. At the level of the body, I am looking for the same things, to love and to serve. But the problem is, it is temporary. Right? So the God is eternal, soul is eternal. And the loving relationship between the two is also eternal. Right? So that eternal love and service to God is called Sanatan Dharma. As soul, I am meant to love and serve God. God is Sanatana, Atma is Sanatana, their relationship is Sanatana, and that relationship is Sanatan Dharma. Now I may have forgotten that relationship. That activity that will help me to revive that relationship, that is Sanatan Dharma. Right? So, just as a person suffering from amnesia, may forget parents, relatives, friends. Similarly, we have forgotten our love and service to God. Right? And when we forget our love and service towards God, then same love and service is reposed in the temporary and false relationships of this world. Right? Then you find, so as soul, my life has to be God centered. But then when I forget that relationship, I try to find satisfaction in the temporary and the false relationships of this world. And then I find, instead of God being the center, spouse centeredness, family centeredness, money centeredness, work becomes the center, possessions become center, pleasure becomes center, friend, enemy. And if nobody is there, right, dog centeredness. If not God, 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 then DOG, dog centeredness. Right? So, so spiritual happiness, please focus on this, what I'm trying to say now. Very important. Otherwise, why Arjuna gets bewildered and why Gita progresses, you will not understand. So we all look for happiness. Happiness comes from two things: to love and to serve. At the level of the soul, I love and serve God, but I forget this relationship. So at the level of the body, I think I am the body. And at the level of the body, I look for loving and service. So spiritual happiness comes from serving God, right? Executing one's constitutional duty. That is spiritual happiness. And material happiness comes from executing my material swadharma or prescribed duty. So spiritual happiness and material happiness, right? So what is Arjuna's condition now? Arjuna is supposed to, now Krishna is standing in front of him. As soul, Arjuna is supposed to listen to Krishna, obey Krishna, serve Krishna, love Krishna. And Arjuna, as the body, he is a Kshatriya, he is meant to fight the war. Right? That's his prescribed duty. That is his material duty. That is his material swadharma. Right? So now Arjuna is in a dilemma. Should I fight? Arjuna thinks, better I go away. And now from text 31 of the second chapter, Krishna refutes Arjuna's arguments one by one. 5 arguments Arjuna has given till now. And now Krishna refutes. To the point, Krishna first says the benefits of fighting, he says. If you win, you get the unrivaled kingdom on earth. If you lose, as a Kshatriya, you fought the war, you go to the heavenly planets. You performed your duty, you will be rewarded. And if you avoid fighting the war, if you avoid your prescribed duty, Krishna says sin, papa. Not fighting as per prescribed duty will be the real sin. Krishna says infamy. You'll only gain infamy out of it. You will be dishonored. For a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. And Krishna tells Arjuna, you'll be ridiculed by your enemies. Nobody is going to glorify you. Oh, great soul, Arjuna had such compassion. No, your enemies will laugh at you, saying that you ran away. Right? So, swadharmam api chaveksha na vikampitum arhasi dharmyaddi yuddhat shreyo anyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. So, Krishna says, Swargadwaram apavritam, destination will be higher. Otherwise, if you don't follow, sin will overcome you. You will gain only infamy. Your enemies will, discredit you, criticize you. Right? So, till text 41, Krishna addresses one argument of Arjuna and refutes it, clarifies it. Why Arjuna should not give up his prescribed duty, which is the duty at the level of the body, which is being a Kshatriya, which is being to fight the war. Right? To the point, Krishna says in the text 37, Hatova prapsyasi sargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmat uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishtaya. Krishna gives his verdict. Get up, Arjuna. Perform your duty at the level of the body, which is now you have to fight with your own kinsmen, your own relatives and friends. Don't run away. It is your duty. Fight the war. So, Krishna's verdict is you benefit by performing your duty. If you lose, right, you go to heavens. If you win, then you get a kingdom. Don't run away from your prescribed duty. Now, Arjuna may say, but what about the dualities that I accept, that I undergo? Sukha, dukkha. Krishna says, this equanimity you have to bring in you. While you perform duty in this world, your prescribed duties, sometimes success will come, sometimes failure will come, sometimes happiness will come to you, sometimes suffering will come. Sukha dukkhe same kritva. Between sukha and dukkha, maintain that equanimity. Labha labhau jaya ajau ajayau. Labha, gain, alabha, loss, jaya, victory, ajau, defeat. So, sukha, dukkha, labha, alabha, jaya, ajau. What should you do? Oh, you should maintain that equanimity by performing detached work. So, what is Krishna expecting here from Arjuna? Arjuna, you perform your work, but perform in a detached manner. Right? So, while I am pursuing my constitutional duty as soul towards God, I cannot, be lax or give up my duties at the level of the body. Krishna will tell Arjuna, you have to maintain the body. You have to keep the soul and body together. As soul, you perform your duty. That is one level of duty. The second level of duty is at the level of the body. Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't run away. Perform that duty as well. But Arjuna will say, but what about sukha dukkha that comes? What about victory and failure that comes? It disturbs me. Krishna says, that's where equanimity has to be developed. Right? While performing your prescribed duties at the level of the body, Krishna says, perform detached work. Very important when I'm saying this. Nishkama karma. Karma yoga, you have heard. You perform your action, prescribed action. Krishna says, add one more word in front of it. Nishkama karma. So whenever I work, I'm attached to what? I'm attached to work also sometimes, but especially I'm attached to the fruits. Krishna is saying, wait, Nishkama karma you should perform. It means whatever is your duty you do, but while being detached from the results of it. That Nishkama karma yoga, Krishna calls it Buddhi yoga in the second chapter. Intelligent action. Nishkama karma has to be action. Krishna calls it Buddhi yoga. It is called intelligent action. Right? Eshate abhita sankhi Buddhi yoga, see, buddhi yoga word comes there. That is text 39 of second chapter. Buddhi yoge tva imam shrunu buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. Krishna drops a hint here and discussion goes to a spiritual level. When you practice buddhi yoga, when you perform your work in an intelligent way, which means you perform detached action, which means detached from the results of the action, Krishna says, karma bandha, you will get freed from your sinful reactions. All the past reactions that I am carrying from my past life, for all the actions that I may have performed at the level of my prescribed duties, all that papa I am carrying along with me. Krishna says, just by performing nishkama karma now, you get freed from the sinful reactions of the past. When you engage your intelligence, right, in this yoga, nishkama karma, buddhi yoga, Krishna says, karma bandham prahasyasi, you will become free from the bondage of work. Right? And then Krishna says, there is no loss in this yoga. Very important verse of Bhagavad Gita. Second chapter, 40th verse could be taken for memorization. Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. I'm able to remember and recollect now. Gaurav Prabhu was supposed to remind me about the verses for memorization, but he did not do that in the last week. I hope he will do that in the coming week and I'll send it across to you. The 108 important shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, which you can memorize, and I will try to send the recording also of it so that you'll know the meter in which you can memorize it. Okay. So Krishna says in the 40th verse, Arjuna, there is no loss in this yoga. When you perform your prescribed duty while being detached from the results and then engage in your constitutional duty as soul towards God, what will happen? There is no loss. What does it mean? On the spiritual path, while you are performing your prescribed duties, while being detached from the results of the action, Krishna says, whatever advancement you have made in this life, it remains eternal with you. So whatever advancement, let's say you make 20% advancement on the spiritual path, Krishna says, next life you'll begin from 21%. Imagine. At another level, if let's say I have a PhD this life, but the next birth, if it's a human form, I'll have to once again go to school. I'll forget everything. But that's not with the spiritual path. Whatever advancement you have made in this life, you will carry it to the next. So Krishna says, understanding this, become focused now. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana bahushakha hi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. That is text 41. Krishna tells Arjuna, become one pointed, focused on this buddhi yoga path, enlightened action, the path of enlightened action. Don't remain many branched. Now, what do you mean by many branched? Bahushakha, multi branched. Krishna says, traditionally, people would refer to scriptures for every activity. And scriptures also, Vedas also prescribe many actions. And especially Vedas entice. You perform this yajna, you will go to Swarga. If you perform this puja, then you will get this result. What happens? When people get into Vedas and the spiritual section of the Vedas, they entice one in a manner that while performing one's prescribed duty, one forgets one's constitutional duty. I'll explain it in a simple way. Nowadays, when you go out and you try to give the message of Bhagavad Gita to people, and they'll say, "Time kahan hai? Where is time? I have so much work pressure, family pressure, so many things I am doing. right? In earlier times, people would say, oh, you're asking us to be focused on the spiritual path, but what about my duties towards my Kuldaivat? What about that puja my father would do? What about, my Panditji is telling me do that also? Krishna is saying, don't become multi-branched. Remain focused. Huh? Vedavat ratah partha. So Krishna gives the example, the flowery words of the Vedas. Even the Vedas, yes, there is the message, the important message in the Vedas is to surrender to God. As soul, perform your duty towards God. But what has happened? What happens is Vedas also have so many other instructions, and one may get kind of lost there. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam. Like, one devotee was telling me, Prabhuji, I will chant Hare Krishna. I know that is the duty of the soul. That is the dharma of the soul, to chant Hare Krishna. But if I can chant on a nice couch, it will be so nice, right? Why to sit on a small chatai and chant, sit on the chatai on the floor and chant? Why not a nice couch? But to arrange for this nice couch, oh, so much time will go in that arrangement, and chanting remains, you know. Oh, I'll chant later. Chanting can happen later. And couch is a simple example. One may say, let me have a few millions in my bank and then chanting Hare Krishna is good. But getting those millions, right? And what happens, even if you get millions, they're not going to go with you to next life. And we keep on postponing our spiritual practice and just take care of the body, or always think at the level of the body. Some better propositions for the body. But what about the Atma? You were never the body. The body was simply an outside covering. That covering is required. That covering can be kept nice, but not so much care for the covering that we forget the soul. Right? So Krishna cautions Arjuna, you will not be able to remain one-pointed if you end up becoming multi-branched here. Bhoga and Aishwarya, these two tendencies, Bhoga, desire to enjoy, and Aishwarya is luxuries. They generally make people go astray from the spiritual purpose of life. We will need, like, I need a chair, I need a bed, I also need to eat. These arrangements have to be made. But so much going on only for that, right? And what happens? The spiritual purpose is lost. The one-pointed intelligence does not remain. So, Bhoga and Aishwarya Prasaktanam, that's text 44. You can take it this also for memorization. 2.44. Bhog Aishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Aparita Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhihi Samadhau na Vidhiyate. Now comes the very famous verse of Bhagavad Gita, 2.47. Krishna is clarifying something here. And whenever you ask, any Indian especially who may have come across Bhagavad Gita, they will say, yes, I know Bhagavad Gita. I know the verse from Bhagavad Gita. Which one? This one, 2.47. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. And then you tell, Aage badho, aage badho. 4 lines, 4, not 1, 4 lines, 4 lines. What are the, no, only this much. No, not just first line. There are 3 more lines to it. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. Perform your karma. That's why I am working in this world. But that's just 1 line. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Don't be attached to the results of your activities. People will not ever think of the second line. I will work in this world. That's what Bhagavad Gita teaches. Work is worship. If work is worship, then the donkey is the best guy. Working all day and night. Why do you want to become a donkey, man? Krishna is not asking you to become, Krishna does not expect you to become a donkey. Krishna is saying, Karmanyeva adhika. Yes, you have right. You perform your work. But then there has to be a consciousness. Ma phaleshu kada. Don't be attached to results. Dutiful work means being detached from the results. Now you will say, प्रभु जी श्लोक खत्म हो गया? नो नो नो, श्लोक इज नॉट ओवर येट, ओनली 2 lines. कर्मण्येवा अधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भू. Do not think that you are the cause of the results. That is also very important. I am not attached to the results, but I got the results. That attachment also will continue you in the cycle of birth and death. Understand? It's like saying, you know, somebody here amongst the ladies, let's say Preeti Chauthai Mataji, right? She's here. So let's say she's cooking and a wonderful, vegetable preparation is done, right? And it is served. Now, who should get the credit? Preeti Mataji should get the credit, or that ladle or chammach, right, which went into kadai, which took the heat, the oil, the hot oil, the chili and everything. Who should get the credit? The instrument should get credit, or Preeti Madhuri should get the credit? What do you feel? Let us see. Preeti also can answer. Who should get the credit? Are you following what I'm trying to explain here?
The ingredients.
The ingredients should get credit at the dining table. Wow, the ingredients are so nice, so nice. No, that's not what happens.
It's giving the right taste. I just use the ingredients, and because of the ingredients have that particular taste with all the
But the
combination.
ingredients were lying. The ingredients were lying around before also. Nobody was giving credit. See, the most difficult job was done by the ladle, the spoon. But the credit will go to Preeti Mataji. The instrument cannot take the credit. One who is dealing with handling the instrument. Similarly, as soul, as when we are performing our duty, Krishna is saying, don't think that you are the cause of the results. You are just an instrument. That should be our consciousness. I am just an instrument. God is getting things done through us. And generally, you will find this intelligence comes when we are like 50, 60, 65-year old. And when, all these oldies, they sit together, they will talk. पता नहीं कैसे हो गया, जीवन चल गया. How things happened, how I school and college and, job and family. And how did all this happen? We were just being carried. But when we think, I am the doer, then you once again have to take birth. Krishna is saying, don't think yourself. So you have to be detached. You have to perform your duty. आपको अधिकार है. You have right. But ma phaleshu kadachana, you don't have right over the fruits. Don't think that you are the cause of the result. And don't be attached to the result. Mate sangostva akarmani. And if somebody will say, if I am not supposed to be attached to the results, then who gets the results? Don't worry about that part also. You only perform your duty. And nowadays it becomes very difficult to understand this verse. So it becomes difficult because, see, all of you think of it. Remember, either as, family, you find there were times when, even America, people or Western world also, marriages would last for life, entire life, dutifully. They go through so many ups and downs. But no. We have solemnized marriage in a church or a temple. God, we have taken blessings. Whatever we go through it. See? But nowadays, what happens? No, I didn't like this. Why did you look at me like this? This was not good. And we give. Or second example, you find Earlier, people would take up a job, right? And they would go same office and same company and same factory whole life. And Papa will tell children, I'm going, my duty ja raha hu. See, the word also was used for duty. You don't hop and jump around. But nowadays, oh, people do not last with one job for a little money, and then and what happens then? Because it becomes very difficult to understand these verses where Krishna is saying, see, you have to solve the puzzle of life. At the level of soul, you have a duty towards God. You have to find time for that. But you also have a body which will demand some work. How do you perform that work? Don't perform work in a manner that you get caught by the karma cycle. You have to resolve this karma cycle. That means some consciousness has to be there. Perform the action detached from the results. Don't consider yourself to be the doer, and don't even give up your duty thinking it is difficult. So, karmanye va adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal heturbhuru mate sangostu akarmani. That's the full verse which Krishna is giving. Right? Okay. I'll go a little fast now. Okay. And then Krishna in the text 49 says, while you are performing this Nishkama Karma Yoga, enlightened action, liberating action, be very careful. Reject all abominable actions. So this verse, text 49, will be the seed verse for the third chapter, 36th verse question of Arjuna. 2.49 and 3.36 will have connection. Right? So Krishna here says, you have understood, Arjuna, but be very careful. There will be allurements and distractions on the way. When you want to keep your consciousness very fixed up, I want to get out of this cycle of birth and death. I want to deliver my soul. I have to perform actions for the soul. I have to perform actions for the body. The actions for the body at that level, there will be many distractions that will come. Right? Like Srila Prabhupada, when he went to preach in the Western countries, especially when he went to America, Prabhupada first told them, see, you have to follow 4 rules. Don'ts. Yama and Niyama. Yama means things not to do, Yamaraj, not to do, and Niyama, things to do. So in the Yama, Prabhupada told them 4 things. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. These 4 don'ts were offered by Prabhupada, which is from Bhagavatam, which is from Parampara that is giving us. These 4 don'ts, right? These are abominable actions. Krishna is telling in 2.49, Arjuna bach ke rehna. Dure nahi avaram karma. Buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Do not get misled by these abominable actions. Right? And then Krishna gives the benefits of acting in Buddhi yoga. No reactions, your no birth, death cycle. Your intelligence will become fixed. Now, when Arjuna has heard this, we come to the Gita acronym back, GIT. G was Guru, I was identity, T was 2 duties, and A is Atmaram. Arjuna suddenly asked, Krishna, one who has attained perfection on this, duty path, this Buddhi Yoga, one who is Atmaram, in the body, but living for Atma now, self-realized soul. What are the symptoms of this Atmaram person? One who takes pleasure in the soul now, in this world, but not of this world. In this world, but not caught in the sufferings of this world. One who is detached, lives around with us, could be one person, but is a Atmaram personality. Quickly, Arjuna says, tell me the symptom of that personality, Atmaram, self-realized person. So, Arjuna, asks Arjuna, Arjuna asks Krishna about the characteristics of such a yogi, one who is in samadhi. Like, you have heard this word samadhi. Generally, people think samadhi means one cave will be there, somebody sitting inside there, somebody on a mountain, in Himalayas. No, the word is very simple. Samadhi. Dhi means intelligence. Samadhi. One who is equipoised, one who has equipoised intelligence in this world, but the intelligence is quite, balanced now. Success, failure, good, bad, right, wrong, uh, between all this, samadhi, right? The person that attains samadhi, what are the symptoms of such a person? So, Arjuna's questions, 2.54, Arjuna asks these questions. स्थित प्रज्ञस्य क्या भाषा? स्थित प्रज्ञा, samadhi, same thing. Sthita pragya also means intelligence. Sthita means fixed intelligence. Sthita pragyasya ka bhash. First of all, he says, what are the general symptoms? Kim prabhasheta, how does that person speak? Kim asita, how does that person sit? Vrajeta kim, how does that person walk? Now, Arjuna is not asking, how does he sit? How does he walk? How does he be? There are deeper meanings to it. One who has attained samadhi, how does he speak means, on Arjuna means here, on receiving praise or receiving blame, on receiving affection or hate, right? How does this person respond? That means, how does he speak? When Arjuna is asking one who has attained samadhi, sthita pragya, how does asita, how does he sit?
No, not this one, not this one.
Arjuna is asking here, when he says, how does he sit? Arjuna is saying, while in the world of sense objects, how does this person restrain his senses? Right? Like sometimes, young devotees will say, क्या करूं, कंट्रोल ही नहीं हुआ प्रभु जी, क्या हुआ, क्या करे, कंट्रोल ही नहीं होता. Right? This person who has attained samadhi, how does this person restrain his senses from the sense objects? And how does one respond to sense object? Right? So Krishna will answer these 4 questions of Arjuna in 2.54 in the remaining part of the chapter, from 55th verse to 71st verse. Do you want me to continue on the second chapter, or you feel we can go to the third chapter? You want to hear you want to hear Krishna's answers? We are just supposed to discuss the overview of the chapter, but I'm going into detail here. Otherwise, we may end up taking more sessions, extending our sessions. Gaurav Prabhu, can you see the responses?
Yeah, Prabhu, I think
Anybody else?
that's fine, Prabhu. Yeah, we can go deeper. Yeah, people are putting up thumbs up.
Okay. So Krishna tells Arjuna the general symptoms of a person, self-realized person, right? Samadhi. Like, we want to know, the richest guy, how does he walk? How does he talk? How does he behave? The most intelligent guy, how did he make it? Similarly, Arjuna is asking, one who has perfected on the spiritual path, how does he sit? How does he walk? How does he talk? That's what. So Prabhupada says, just as there are symptoms for a rich man, just as there are symptoms for a sick man, similarly, there are symptoms of a perfected yogi. So this is the whole section from 2.54 to 2.71, and 2.72 is the last verse for this chapter. Contents of Gita summarized is over. Entire Gita is over. After this, Arjuna will further ask question in the third chapter. So Krishna says, one who has attained perfection, self-realized, first Krishna says is, this person has come to a point gives up all material desires. What does material desire means? I think I am the body, and whatever desires I have for the satisfaction of the body, they are material desires. So one was, I may not be in that situation now or condition now, but that person who has attained samadhi, first thing Krishna says the symptom is gives up all material desires of sense gratification. Sorry. Now, why does this person gives up? Because one comes to complete realization, all material desires are nothing but mental concoction. Sab mental hai. Everything is mental. Why? Something that we feel I should attain and I desire it very strong. You'll find in some years we regret. Oh, kyun manga? Why did I ask for it? Something that I feel will give me happiness. That same thing or situation I feel that is misery today, becomes misery. Something that I thought will remain permanent with me, in time I realized it was temporary. Huh? What did I run after? Right? So somebody who has attained samadhi has come to a point of realization, all these material desires are simply waste of time. Running behind them is simply wasting this important human form of life. Come to that stage of realizing this guy has come. With this purified mind, Krishna says, one finds satisfaction in the self alone. I'll give you two examples for this. Three examples. With me, what happened in my life only. One time I was in the train. I got up early in the morning, like 4 o'clock. Every day I wake up at 4 o'clock and I chant Hare Krishna. So I was in the train in India, and I went to the basin, wash basin area, and I brushed my teeth. And there are a few guys sitting there in saffron cloths in India. So many, we call them sadhus, those who roam around free of cost in the train and here and there. They're just roaming around. So these guys were sitting there and they were smoking ganja, right? And after I finished brushing my teeth, this one of them said, "Aja, aja, tu bhi baith ja. Come, you also sit with us." And I said, "No, no, no, no. I don't smoke. I don't smoke." And you know what comment I got? Kaisa sadhu hai? What kind of sadhu are you? As if sadhu means smoking ganja. Are ganja, anybody can smoke, but that does not make you sadhu, right? And one of them said, "How are you able to control?" I said, "This is a good question to ask. Any fool can smoke ganja. To control, that is called attaining samadhi. That is called your intelligence is so sharp now. The senses will demand, but you can say no to it. Right? Like, YouTube says now, every user which comes to YouTube, they will watch minimum 7 videos. They'll come to watch one, but they'll end up watching minimum 7. What does it mean? Control nahi hua. One and the next and the next. But the intelligence, if it's sharp, no, wait. My work was with one video and I'm done with it, over. But that's what does not happen. So I'm giving you the first example. This happened with me. Then one time, one person was dropping me back to the temple after a program, and this person asked me a question. Prabhuji, every morning you wake up at 4 o'clock, right? Even on weekends, ये इस्कॉन वाले आपको वीकेंड को छुट्टी नहीं देते? I was like, what? I never thought that spiritual life means weekend chutti. What is happening? And I was like, we practice every day. We chant Hare Krishna. We do our spiritual practice. We do our prescribed duties every day. There is no, we never say it. Parents cannot say, right? I know it's weekend, no, we'll not take care of children anymore, In 5 days we took care, No, you have to, right? So purified minds means one will find satisfaction in the self now, activities of soul. restraining the senses, engaging the soul for the service of God. Right? So a person who has attained samadhi means, Krishna says, gives up all material desires of sense gratification to give satisfaction to the senses. So a lot of symptoms are discussed by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, how does he speak? That means, how does his intelligence respond and words respond to affection, anger, and neutrality? Krishna says, one who has attained samadhi, you will find this person is equipoised in happiness and distress. These things will come. Some situation of happiness, some condition of distress. One is equipoised. Same. Especially Lord Ram is famous for this. A day before, Lord Ram was told, you will become the king next day. You will be coronated. They say, no change. No, face is the index of the mind. The face one. And the next day, he was told you have to go to forest for 14 years. Same. Did not, jump around and, throw a party. Oh, I'm going to become the king. Or next day, किधर है हो बाप मेरा, किधर है पप्पा, एक थप्पड़ लगाता हूँ, कैसे कर रहे हैं, how you are sending me to the forest. Nothing like that. See, wonderful. Right? He tells Bharat, you become the king of Ayodhya and I'll become the king of the forest. Same thing. And he tells Kaikeyi, you have not been a good mother to Bharat. And Kaikeyi says, why are you saying this? Lord Ram says, you gave him a small Ayodhya and to me you have given the whole earth. Why did you not be a good mother to him? You could not be a good mother to Bharat. Can you imagine somebody so equipoised? Right? Like Lord Ram, the yogi also can become equipoised. This is the meaning Krishna is saying. One who is in samadhi, how does he speak? Means happiness and distress will come. Remain equipoised. Right? Like someday the body will give trouble. Someday the boss will give trouble. This, Calgary minus 40 degrees Celsius will, what do? You continue your duty at the level of the body and you continue duty at the level of the soul. Both duties have to go on. Right? One is free from attachments, free fear and anger. One is unaffected by good and evil, and one remains firmly fixed in knowledge. Right? So all these symptoms and how this one example Krishna gives, very beautiful example, a tortoise. You've seen a tortoise? A tortoise otherwise will have his head out and limbs out. But as soon as the tortoise senses danger, you takes it into the shell, back. Krishna says the yogi, one who has attained samadhi, lives in this world of sense objects. Foolish people fall for sense objects. But one who has attained samadhi means he knows when to take out the senses and when to withdraw them. Enough. Out. Not a safe place. My spiritual practice will get compromised. This control one attains, Krishna says. Right? We have 5 senses. These 5 senses will demand pleasure. The eyes want to see, the nose want to smell, the ears want to hear. One can withdraw at will. No. If this is going to become a danger for my spiritual practice, for my spiritual perfection, one who has come to the stage of samadhi can withdraw. No, I will not indulge. Right? Like one devotee was mentioning to me, he came to the temple and he said, Prabhuji, chamatkar ho gaya. I said, chamatkar? What miracle happened? And this devotee told me, Prabhuji, I would drink 12, teacups a day. That was average for me. Minimum 12 teacups. Can you imagine? And he said, Prabhuji, my boss proposed, asked me, oh, take chai. And I said, no, nahi chahiye. And after some moments, I realized, I said no. How did I say no to it? So, chamatkar ho gaya, Prabhuji, chamatkar ho gaya. Miracle. It is a miracle. See, a devotee, by little practice of Krishna consciousness, will get it. You can say no to your bad habits and you will be amazed. Wow, how is this happening? I was so badly into it and I can say no to it now. This willpower one gets, and especially one in samadhi, one will say, no matter what alluring sense objects may be close by, and one can say no to it. Right? Yada samharate chayam cha ayam kurmo anganiva sarvashah indriyan indriyarthebhyas tasya prajna pradisthita. One who can act like a tortoise, when to allow the senses to roam and when to withdraw them. Tasya pragya. That is another symptom. Intelligence is fixed now. One gets that willpower. Right? So, how does he sit? How does one restrain one's senses? Krishna says, by higher taste. Once you have a higher taste, then easily you can give up the lower taste. What does that mean? Srila Prabhupada, he would give an example. If you get to eat halwa, nice halwa, an Indian delicacy, halwa, Prabhupada would say, why would anybody eat stool? This is Prabhupada example. Nobody would like to. Oh, such a higher taste, nice halwa I am getting. Srila Prabhupada would say, when you get the higher taste of spiritual practice, then you can understand, oh, right? Even actually, though, those who are from traditional Indian backgrounds, right? Even when they come to cities in India, they will say, how do they live? Why like this? Right? Like, somebody who has controlled, senses and, has never, ever taken liquor in life, right? If you see a drunkard lying around on the street, you see, what waste of life. And this guy will say, you are wasting your life. You know how I'm enjoying? But you can see it is no enjoyment. But this fellow says, party, 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 this is enjoyment. And you are saying, no, you don't understand. Yeah, because the intelligence is not there. Similarly, one who has perfected on the spiritual path, has attained samadhi, one clearly knows, I have to engage my senses in the service of God, in service to God. And as much as you engage in service to God, your senses you engage in service to God, easily you'll get the higher taste. And then the lower taste, the attractions of this world, or the distractions, if I can use that word, right? Those distractions, we can say no to it, right? So, Vishaya Vinivartante, that is 2.59. You can take this verse also for memorization, 2.59. So, those of you who have been to, a full-fledged ISKCON temple, you will find a restaurant there, which is called Govinda's restaurant. So, generally people ask, Prabhuji, we accept this is a temple, but what do you do? What is a restaurant doing here? Srila Prabhupada would say, you'll see Govinda's and below it is written the higher taste. What does it mean? In the Govinda's restaurant, you will get prasad, something that has been offered to God. We discussed about it in the last session. So when people come to ISKCON temple, they'll take darshan of Krishna and they also take darshan of prasad. Not just darshan, they will eat also. They will eat also that prasad. And when we eat prasad, we get the higher taste. Easily we'll find people who have been, kind of non-vegetarians, they'll become vegetarians. And more than that, they'll become Krishnatarians. They will only eat what has been offered to Krishna. How does that change happen? Simply by higher taste, by experiencing a higher taste. So, what about restrictions? Yes, there have to be certain restrictions on the spiritual path. But if I just keep on restricting a person, no. You're seeing with children, you do it. You keep on, no. After some time, rebellion comes out. But with children, what do? You give them better engagement. Don't just keep on saying no to them. Otherwise, you'll have a rebellious child. Find better engagement for them. Similarly, our mind and senses, they demand something of this world which could be dangerous. But you say, no, 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 no. How long can you say no? You give give the senses the higher taste, the higher engagement, the better engagement. Like, you want to see beauty in this world, come to ISKCON temple and see beautiful Radha and Krishna. Satisfy the desire to see something beautiful there. You want to hear something nice, some music. You hear nice kirtans, nice holy name music, right? You can hear that. You like to eat something, eat prasad. Right? You want to smell the wonderful, beautiful flowers or incense offered to Krishna. Right? That higher taste gives us the strength to say no to the lower taste, which would have otherwise pulled me into the world once again. But Krishna cautions Arjuna, never think that you have made it and the senses will not bring you down. Krishna says, even the most intelligent, one who has attained samadhi, has to be very careful in this world. Otherwise, the mind and senses drag away even the mind of the very intelligent guy. Always be on guard, Krishna says. Never ever, these senses are nasty. They will run wild once again. Right? In the Bhagavatam, the example is given, if you catch wild animals, live wild animals, you have to be on guard. They are wild. They will kill you if you don't keep guard on them. Right? You see, fine in circus, the lion, every day the lion would perform, but today a different performance happened. The lion killed the caretaker only, because the caretaker became little off guard, was caught off guard by the lion. So Krishna cautions the yogi, right? Be very careful on the spiritual path. This mind and senses can drag you down, right? So those of you who have been to Badrinath, in India, there's a place, the four Char Dham, and in that is Badrinath. Before you reach Badrinath, 5 kilometers before, on the hills, there are a lot of waterfalls. And one of the falls is the name is Yogi Falls. So literally also Yogi Falls. Yogi Falls. How does the yogi fall? The yogi falls because of the demands of the mind and senses. You have to always be on guard. Yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani pramathini. Krishna says these senses are mad. Never trust them. Never ever trust them. Haranti prasabham manaha. And in the text 61, Krishna says this sense control is possible only by devotion to Krishna. Right? First time in the Bhagavad Gita where devotion or bhakti is introduced by Krishna. Generally, scholars will say, oh, to 7th chapter mein. No, 2nd chapter, 61st verse. Right? Tani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita mat paraha. Mat paraha is in me. Engage your intelligence in service to me. If you have your Bhagavad Gita, open this verse and mark it. This is the first place, first time Krishna is talking about bhakti. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi asya indriyani tasya prajna pratisthita. Krishna is saying, I will certify that guy. Krishna is saying, one whose intelligence is fixed in me. What does Krishna want of me? What does Krishna want me to do? What is Krishna's expectation of me? I just do that. If you are convinced about this fact, Krishna says, certified sense control personality. Right? And then my request to you is, we have overshot, we have gone beyond the time allotted to us, but 2.62, right? 2.62, 2.63, Krishna says stages of fall down. Yogi falls, but the yogi falls in stages. It's not a fall. This guy was a spiritual practitioner and suddenly he'll become materialist once again. No, there are steps. How does that happen? Krishna says, dhyayato vishayan pumsam. Dhyayato dhyan karenge. One will meditate on the sense objects, right? It's like saying for a man it could be a woman, and for a woman it could be a man, and one will say no, 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 no. I'm a duly married person, but the mind contemplates, right? One may be away from sense object, but the mind still contemplates. Like I'm sitting here, and if I want, I can be in Calgary right away. My mind can carry me there. Right away, I can be there. The mind is very powerful, very powerful. The mind thinks, and as much as the mind will think on one object, the intelligence will say, up to chahiye. I want it now. Dhyato Vishwan, the attachment develops. And when that attachment develops and you don't get it, krodha comes. Anger. When the lust is unfulfilled, anger will come. So whenever you feel angry, check yourself. There was some lust. There is some desire which is unfulfilled, which is turned into anger. And when anger comes in, Krishna says, you become illusioned. Because you don't know what will you do now. Angry person can respond in ways that one will regret after some time. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Sammoha. And when you become illusion, smriti, your memory is lost. Right? Smriti bhramshat buddhi, and then intelligence goes for a toss. And when intelligence is lost, once again the senses drag this yogi down. Gone. Once again lost. And for this, the entire Ajamil Katha is there in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam. A good man, a very good soul. How he falls down so bad. So the yogi has to be very careful. At no stage one should think, apna to ho gaya. No. Unless we are out of, the soul is out of the body and into the spiritual world. Never ever rest in peace. Even if they put it on the graveyard, on the grave, rest in peace. No rest in peace here. Till the time the yogi is in this world of senses and sense objects, one has to be very careful. And Krishna ends the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita telling Arjuna, Krishna says in the text 70, I'll not take that. So Krishna says, one who is thus situated at the point of death, till the point of death, pragya pratisthita, if your intelligence has remained fixed and you are not overcome by the senses, the demands of the senses and the mind, and you remain focused on the spiritual path, on the path of Krishna consciousness, Krishna says your test is till the point of death. At the point of death, Krishna says, right? Once intelligence remains fixed, then one will come back to me. One will attain my abode. Krishna says, in this, if you see the text 71 of 2nd chapter, Krishna is saying there, vihaya kamanya sarvan pumams charati nispriha nirmamo nirahankara sashantim adhigacchati. One will attain peace. Who will attain peace? A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from material desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego. One has reached to that stage by constant practice. Krishna says now one will attain real peace. And in the text 72, Krishna says, if one remains in this sthiti, esha brahmi sthiti partha, in this situation, without getting affected, prapya vimuhyati, gain and loss, sthitva asyam antakale api, at the point of death, antakala, if one is sthita, remains like this, Krishna says, brahma nirvanam richati, one will attain brahma nirvana. One will attain spiritual liberation into spiritual kingdom, the kingdom of God. Right? And you may say, Prabhuji, clear me what 71 and 72, it ran too fast. Yes, it is summarized, contents of Gita summarized. In the 8th chapter, Arjuna will ask questions on 71 and 72 verse. Krishna, explain me what is this Antakala? That explanation will come there. What is this point of death that you mentioned in the 2nd chapter, 72nd verse? 6 questions Arjuna will ask in 8 chapters. One of that will be this connection to text 72. So we'll stop here today. Next week when we meet, Arjuna will ask a doubt, which generally none of this, students of second chapter get, because Arjuna is a smart guy. Arjuna has caught Krishna. Wait, Krishna. You said two things here which are equivocal in the second chapter. I could not follow. Please explain. That's why Bhagavad Gita continues further. Otherwise, Krishna has given the symptoms of a person in Samadhi. Krishna has given what will that Samadhi stage, where will you go after death. Everything is done here. But Bhagavad Gita continues because Arjuna is a good student. Right? Imagine if Krishna would have chosen one of us. शायद 72 वर्सेस भी बोलता नहीं था, क्या बोलूं इसको बाबा, इसको कुछ समझ ही नहीं रहा, इसका कुछ. So Krishna chose a good chap, in Arjuna, and Arjuna will continue the Bhagavad Gita for all of our sake, to make it further clear, to make it easier for us to understand. Thank you very much. Any questions, clarifications, corrections? If you want to offer now, please. Or comments, you could ask that now.
I think Adirup Prabhu has a question. Adirup Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji, for giving us so much clarification on chapter 2. So, Prabhuji, my question is, there are some jobs, for example, sales job or a book distributor job, where you need to keep the goal in mind. Like Srila Prabhupada used to say, double the book distribution, right? So, the goal is there, the fruit is there, that if I want to, let's say, distribute 30 Bhagavad Gitas, and I want to meet the target, and if I'm going every day, at least one should go.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, Adirup, I understood your question. See, Arjuna wants to run away from the battle. He says, no, I don't want to fight. Krishna had to speak 700 verses to bring him out of his laziness. Right? So when Prabhupada is saying double it, it is simply helping us to come out of our laziness. Prabhupada would not say, all the temples which could not do this much score, close them. No, that's not the case. It is simply that we are lazy. I'll tell you, there was a time at ISKCON Pune, where I live, and I belong to ISKCON Pune as a temple. There was a time when we would pat our back and we say we are great book distributors because, Bhagavad Gita distributors, because we have done 10,000 Bhagavad Gitas. And we were so happy with that score. But today, ISKCON Pune, last marathon, we have done 6 lakh Bhagavad Gitas. Imagine where is 10,000 and where is 6 lakhs? 600,000. We have so much capacity to serve Krishna. We stop ourselves. So Prabhupada, like Acharya, helps us. He's not asking us to become attached to the results. He wants us that we come out of our laziness, especially spiritual laziness. When it comes to do something for ourselves, we will leave no stone unturned. But when it comes to Krishna, why to do so much? Why not, why Krishna can not be satisfied with little? So that spiritual laziness can be avoided when we follow the instruction of the Acharyas. He's not asking us to be attached to the results. Okay?
So, like, how should a normal person should take the goals? Salespeople, they receive the goals. So how should they apply?
Yeah, if it happens, all glories to Prabhupada. If it does not happen, all glories to Prabhupada.
Okay.
I continue doing my good work. I put my best. Okay. All glories to Guru and Krishna.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Vrajmalini Mataji, can you go ahead with this question?
Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam. I had a couple of questions. The first was, yes, last class you were talking about there was only one way that the war could have stopped, and that was if Karna would have come to the other side, right?
All other means were tried. This was the last salvo.
My question was, why would the war have ended like that then, if he would have changed sides?
Yeah, because Yudhishthir would have been ready, right? Yudhishthir was such a righteous person. He would have said, if Karna is the eldest Pandava, then I'm not supposed to be around. Then Karna becomes the king, and Karna always had such ambitions. Duryodhana will give up hope if Karna is not on my side. I already doubt Bhishma and Drona. Will they fight properly? Because that's what happens in the first chapter. He plays diplomacy with Dronacharya also. So he had hopes in Karna that Karna is the match to Arjuna. Rest I can take care of. Right? Duryodhan felt, oh, Bhima I can take care, all other Pandavas I can kill. Arjuna I cannot match because I am not so good with bow and arrow. But Karna is equal to
So if he
Arjuna.
would have changed sides, then he would have lost hope.
If Karna would defect, then Duryodhan would have just lost hope. That was one chance Krishna took. Maybe this way the war will not happen. Okay.
Okay. My second question was, Yudhishthira Prabhu was always considered the most righteous and most ethical. So why was the
Yeah.
Gita spoken to Arjuna and not Yudhishthira Maharaj?
Yeah. Very good question. You find in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will say, Arjuna, I have chosen you because you have three qualities. He says, in the same verse, he'll say, Anasuyave, you are not envious of me. This is Krishna's certificate to Arjuna. Then he says, Bhakta Asi, you are my devotee. And Krishna says, my Sakha, you are my friend. These three things, right? Krishna says, that's why I have chosen you. Like sometimes, one may be, let's say you are a teacher for a class and there are students, right? And you want to, sometimes the teacher may employ a method to teach. What is that method? The teacher may choose a student, one amongst the students, one student, and say, please, okay, repeat what I said yesterday, whatever I taught, tell them. And the topper in the class will say, why did you not choose me? The teacher will say, you may be the topper in the class, but this guy is most attentive in the class. That's why I've chosen. So Krishna has his choice in Arjuna because he says, you are anasuyave, you are not envious of me, you are my devotee, and you are my friend. Okay? Because it was Arjuna who passed the test. Because Arjuna said, Krishna, I want you, I don't want anything else of you.
Okay.
So Krishna, yeah, thank you. Yes, Prabhu,
Thank you.
next.
Anjali Mataji, can you go ahead with your question?
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my question is it okay, like आज जो discussion हुआ, desires पे it's like we should be very careful, but having spiritual desires is okay?
Yeah, we should have spiritual desires, but how do you know desire is spiritual?
Oh, even just getting to know more about Krishna, more you tell, I want to know more, hear more about him, going more to temple, visiting more to him.
That is clearly spiritual. But there are
Yes.
many desires. It's like saying, I'll tell you, one lady told me, see, Prabhuji, we are grahasthas, we are family people, so we have children. I said, wonderful, very nice. Koi problem nahi hai. Said, see, we need to go on a holiday. I said, okay, yeah, go on a holiday. And we have to go to the beach, right? Yes. I said, okay, go to the beach. And we have to eat at the restaurant there. I said, hey, where did you bring this thing? You want to eat at a restaurant and then you give, बच्चों का सवाल है. No, बच्चों के नाम से तो you want to do something. Don't try to make something spiritual when it is not. Any desire becomes spiritual when it has blessings from superiors, from Guru, from Parampara, from Krishna. I'm saying blessings, not just permission. First of all, Guru has, not just permitted it, you have also taken blessings for it. And whenever in doubt, is it spiritual? Will it remain spiritual in the long run? Go and cross check. That's why Indian way was, all of you who have got married and you got married in a traditional way, you will find the boy and the girl, the groom and the bride, they are tied, their clothes are tied and they are made, go take blessings. किसका? जिसको पहचानते उसका, जिसको नहीं पहचानते उसका. कितने बार झुकाएंगे बाबा, पीठ दुख गया, our back is hurting. Take blessings, take blessings. you are entering a very important phase of life. You will need blessings. I remember when I would go to every morning when I would wake up and take a shower. After that, I was supposed to go to my grandmother and take blessings, touch her feet. Then my father, then my mother, then my elder brother, then my three sisters. And I was the youngest one. मेरे से कोई blessing नहीं लेता था. And I was the youngest. This is how I would wake up every morning. Whenever I would go for an exam, my mother would tell me, wait, sit. She would make something curd and sugar she will mix and, put it in front of the altar and then give me as prasad. See, take this prasad and then. So everywhere taking blessings is a culture, not just India. I'm just talking about India. You take any Western country, everywhere blessings. So if our desires are spiritual or not, first of all, are they permitted? And more than that, have I taken blessings for it? And whenever in doubt, I clarify. Whenever I feel, has it remained spiritual or not? That also should be checked. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mahesh Prabhu, you had a question. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you very much. Hi, Prabhuji. While you were talking about the Karmanye Vadikaraste shloka, I had this confusion in my head. You said, do your work, do your task, but not the results. That itself is fine, but I see some kind of a contradiction in my head. Probably you could solve it. What about the accountability and the responsibility that goes along with the task? So I'm working on a task. The task will have some results, positive or negative. I am accountable for the task. I do the task, and it turns out to be a bad outcome. Let's say it comes out of the bad outcome. It causes damage to something. The result is the outcome, and it's negative. Am I still accountable and responsible, but not the result? I mean, there's some contradiction there. Am I seeing a contradiction? How do you explain?
In case, see, if you have been attached to your duty, performing your work as your duty, it's my duty. And I'm doing it on behalf of Guru and Krishna. I'm doing it even as a duty, like say Brahmana, Kshatriya. I didn't want to go into details of the description because karma means then it comes as Varnashrama, then Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. There are certain duties assigned to each of them, right? And all of them, they perform their duty without being attached to the result, good or bad. When you have been detached, when you perform detached action, right? See, reaction comes to you because you are attached to the results. When you are not attached to the results, right? Like, what do we do when we worship Ganga? We take water from Ganga and offer it back to Ganga. Right? Or in Hindi, when they do Aarti, they'll say, Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera? I offer it back to you, Krishna. What? Nothing belongs to me. So if I perform my work as duty, which means I am detached from the results, good or bad, I offer both in the service to Krishna. Then no reaction will come to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Diti Mataji, you had a question. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I just have a question. When you said like Srila Prabhupada, I think I've direct messaged you as well. You said 4 don'ts, right? So are they like same as Pancha Mahapapa, which is like Pastrigaman, alcohol, meat eating, stealing gold, and killing of Brahmanas? So I think just sorry.
Those 5 papas are something. See, Dutam Panam Striya Shuna. Meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. Right? And when you're saying killing of a Brahman, and that little details, because somebody who is so spiritually inclined, a Brahmana, not the one that, the Brahmana means as Brahmana, spiritually inclined, killing that person is like brings all the more heavy reaction. It's like saying if I kill a government official, the punishment will be all the more heavier. right? Somebody on duty, government duty, and I murder that person. Oh, this murder is going to bring this case is going to become severe, right? It's not any normal murder anymore. So similarly, a Brahman has, so when you're saying Panch Mahapapa and where killing of a Brahman, that is little detailed explanation of it. But here, at least the basic one should understand is no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. These 4 things Bhagavatam gives. These are 4 pillars of adharma, sin. Okay.
Okay, so following to that, sorry. So we all are in Kali Yuga, right? And we are fortunate enough that we are a bit into a spiritual path. So we have the sense what is dharma, what is adharma, but we have a lot of people around us who are, deeply into, I'd say, like most of the people are doing 2 of the 4, right? Adharma. So,
Okay.
and there might be some people in the family or very close that we can't avoid. Let's just say alcohol, right? So even if i- even if someone is doing it and we don't like it, right? We don't like it in our house. We feel that it's adharma. I feel like I'm chanting and someone is having alcohol and that's gonna disrupt, that is coming in the way of my spiritual path. And it becomes your another dharma, your duty to serve that person because they're elder to you, because you can't keep that relationship, whatever reasons, right? I mean, I'm happy to take it offline if you have time whenever. So should I be thinking this way, or I should just focus on doing my karma and just let everything happening?
See,
Because I feel
okay, I got it. See, first of all, you save yourself in the sense that you should not start thinking, oh, okay, he is doing his money and his things. No, at least one should be convinced this is not good. Now, do I have a sway on that person? Can I explain to that person, and can I bring that person out of that bad habit, which anyway world will also say, doctors will also say this is not good, right? So if that is not there, if I can, wonderful, help that person. Otherwise, if I cannot, at least save yourself, right? That is and how do you save yourself? You also cannot be able to say no, no, no for a long time. After some time, people say, हमारे family में चलता है. Everyone does it. So what is the problem? No. It's not just because my family does something, it is no problem. The reaction will come. It is adharma.
Exactly.
So how do you save yourself is by a higher taste, by your good spiritual practices. You should have the strong willpower by which you can say that everyone else is doing those activities, but I clearly keep myself aloof. I don't indulge. I don't fall. By your higher spiritual taste, you can save yourself. In terms of, now, let's say somebody is drinking or somebody is taking alcohol, but that person also happens to be, let's say, in some relationship with you. You keep yourself away from that bad part of that person, but the other side can be continued. If you cannot wish, that relationship was not there, right? It has to be there. So at least don't connect to the bad side, and the other part, yes, as a duty, continue.
But then let's just say if I'm making prasadam, right? And at the same time, someone wants to eat egg. So I feel like it's, it's adding on to my path because it's the same kitchen, it's the same stuff. So
Yeah,
I get
Mataji, you
very
have heard of
paranoid.
Mirabai? Mataji, you have heard of
Yeah,
Mirabai?
yeah,
She was asked to drink poison.
yes.
Yes. So you should understand that a family like that, a situation like that is your test, your karma test, not somebody else's. It is your karma, past karma, because of which you are in a certain setting, tolerating it and moving ahead. I know so many ladies who were in a situation like this, but they remained steadfast and continued, their own practices and helped the families. And in sometimes few years, some decades, you'll find the entire family becomes, starts practicing very nicely. but you will have to tolerate this situation. It is
Hmm.
your karma, accept the fact it is my own karma that is coming back to me. Now suddenly I have understood spiritual awakening has happened to me,
Hmm.
but I cannot deny that this part of my life cannot be denied. Tolerate it and move on. But while protecting yourself, knowing very much this family also, you have temporary relationship with them.
Hmm.
After this life, you may not see them again, but as soul, your journey will continue. Protect yourself while not creating a situation by which everything goes topsy turvy, and your
Mhm.
spiritual practice also does not happen. Okay.
Hmm. Thank you so
Okay.
much for.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Prabhuji, I don't know your name. It's stated as iPhone. You can go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My name is
Hare
Robin.
Krishna. Robin Hood.
हाँ
Jai.
जी रॉबिन हुड हाँ जी मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि ना मेरे काफी माइंड में था काफी पहले से कि लेट्स टेक एग्जांपल ऑफ मीट ईटिंग सो लेट्स से आई एम फ्रॉम क्षत्रिय कुल or somebody is from like I would say demonic nature or like Ravana's from that kull, and if we eat meat because it's their tradition, it's their like Kshatriya kull, and is this still sin? So for example, Karna used to hunt
Okay. Robin,
and
I'll correct something here. The Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, or Shudras, all four would not eat meat. Shudras maybe sometime, but those who eat, it is in Sanskrit, it is technically called abhaksha, non-eatable for humans. So those who eat meat, they were out of these four positions. They were called outcasts. Chandala, right? All those things were there. So Kshatriya will go and hunt, but not eat. And hunting is allowed because Kshatriya needs to see blood, right? And Kshatriya needs to have valor and fight with wild animal. So Kshatriya is allowed, but sin also is involved. In case it is not done in okay, that's another discussion.
so
But meat eating, it is not that meat eating is allowed for any of these four. They are not. Okay, so don't say that Kshatriya will no Asura. Ravana is Asura. Right? Ravana is demon. He's Asura. He's not Sura. Right? So Asura will eat or can eat. Not that he will eat, can eat. Even Vibhishan was Asuric, Khandan. He was not eating. Prahlad, son of Hiranyakashipu, he is not eating. Not that necessary to eat, but somebody's senses are so wild. One thinks happiness means unless I put under someone else into trouble and kill, how can there be happiness? I've got a job and I want to throw a party. At least few chickens and goats have to die. Then only we are happy. What kind of happiness is this, man? Where do you find happiness? Right? Yeah.
and same thing is with the like egg. It's there is no, I mean, meat. I know there is a kind of
Egg also. Egg also is involved. Egg also is the same thing.
okay,
It has everything that is required for life to come about. It is already there. The hen will not put anything from outside now. Only give warmth of her love, and the chicks come out of it.
and
So
one question like Raja Dashratha hunt, Karna and Arjuna hunt, but they don't eat it. So they already
no,
like kill the animal. So there is no difference between eating and just kill and leave them alone. I mean, they I know they hunt like Raja Dashrath
no.
hunt.
See the Jaipur kings. If you know Jaipur kings, they would go and fight. The Britishers would come and watch what these Jaipur kings, Kshatriya kings, they would fight with a lion with their hands. Can you imagine? They would fight with the lion. They'll kill the lion, and then the lion is skinned, and that skin is hanged on the wall to show this year, this month, this was the lion. They will not eat the lion. right?
Yeah.
So it was a game for them, and the Kshatriyas are allowed because they need to, in case there is a war, the Kshatriya should not run away. I'll give you one example. We sent one brahmachari to a doctor. His health was not good. Brahmachari means somebody like me, right? Right? So a monk. This guy had to go to the doctor. We sent another person with him, and the doctor took out a syringe and took out blood from the patient, and the guy behind, he fell unconscious on the ground, could not see even this much blood. That much blood, that guy fell unconscious. Something like that should not happen to a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya has to fight with weapons and kill if it's required in the battle. Right?
Yeah.
So many people cannot even watch WWE or WWF, whatever you call it, all fake violence. But even that, no, I don't want to watch this. Change the channel, they will say. So, Kshatriyas have to practice. For that, they are allowed. Okay?
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Gaurapu, it's already 8 minutes past 10 at my end. It's quite late. I think Sridhar and Shamanta Kaushik and family, they have questions. If they can write it to you and you can forward it to me, I'll give the answers. I have another
Prabhu.
meeting at 10:30, so I need to prepare for it. Okay?
Definitely, Prabhu. Definitely, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So much, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tolerating for me for this long. You have got great tolerance and patience. You are spiritually advanced people. You have spiritual qualities already that you can hang around with me for that long. Thank you very much. And in case there was something of value that we discussed today, please apply it. And in case I spoke anything anywhere which was not proper, please forgive me for that. I'll try to improve in my offering. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Done with Pranam. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.